What's up, guys? This is Vaughn from Simply Hawkward Games, and today I'm once again joined by my good friend Chase, and we are going to talk about hype and how you guys feel about it, basically everything about hype. Hype is basically the topic, just that. So how do you feel about hype? You have pretty strong opinions on it at the moment.
I absolutely hate hype so much.
Do you hate hype like false hype, or do you just hate it altogether? You just wish games came out and you just knew?
I just wish it was like the old days when games just came out and I could play them or watch someone on YouTube play them and I could determine for myself if it was a good game rather than people trying to determine before the game even comes out whether it's a good game or not.
Having 6 months of just outrageous trailers and like story reviews and all sorts of stuff coming out, and then the game finally comes out and you just found out that you spent like $60 on something that you probably shouldn't have.
Well, I would spend $60 on it in the first scenario too, but I wouldn't have such high expectations.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like in the first scenario, you actually know you're like not an ignorant consumer, because honestly, like in my opinion, for the most part, that's what destroys the gaming industry. Isn't mostly like advertising or anything, it's ignorant consumers, which that's not an insult to anybody. I would just recommend actually watching things or watching reviews, listening to them, reading them, anything.
Or just waiting till the damn game comes out.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Just waiting for the game to actually like to come out and waiting an extra week or so, like 2 days at least, to see your favorite YouTuber, your favorite streamer, literally anybody play a game or watch a movie before you go and watch it. Because it's just, you shouldn't spend your money on something that you have absolutely no idea. Like, gambling is basically what you're doing. And I mean, I could say that I do mostly the same things. I buy games that I don't know are going to be good, but I have a very, I go into games with low expectations for the most part. Like, I know they're not going to be the end-all, be-all. That's why I'm not super pissed about No Man's Sky like everybody else. But there is an example of hype. Hyped for, a year or two beforehand, and came out and was not as amazing as it was supposed to be.
It was, that in Destiny when Destiny first came out.
Yeah, Destiny had so much hype for years.
Bungie was saying that, this game, you're going to be playing it for 10 years and
it's going to be something you play just on end, like nothing's ever going to happen, which, I mean,
we did for a while.
We played a lot of Destiny, and then they kind of fucked you over with the Taken King, and that was just annoying.
But even that was a little bit more fun, but it just gets really repetitive.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. I mean, it is an MMO, so it's a grind.
But I'm totally fine with grinds.
Yeah,
I live for the grind.
It's not the grinding that pissed you off. It was the promise of, an amazing universe to delve into that's almost endless, that you will play for years upon years.
See, another example of hype is Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls Online was a very interesting example because everyone thought it was going to be, it came out after Skyrim, so everybody's like, Skyrim Online, that's basically what it's going to be. And then Bethesda's like, I'm not saying no, but I'm definitely not saying yes. So I'm just going to live in a gray area for 2 years and not let you guys know anything.
But for the most part, it's not even Bethesda, it's I think it's called ZeniMax.
It's ZeniMax. It's technically, if I believe... it was actually basically a law firm beforehand, and then became a game studio.
Ah, perfect!
If I remember correctly, that's what ZeniMax is. It's something completely weird.
Correctly.
But that's not the first time that something's been basically confused with.
But here's the thing: is that it's there is hope for No Man's Sky, because how much hype there was for Elder Scrolls Online. It kind of lived up to it. It was really hard in the beginning because there was no matchmaking, so we kind of had to just trio a dungeon, which really wasn't that bad. But now, if you play it now, if you go pick up a copy right now, I mean, it was even on Steam for $9. It's a fun game now.
Yeah, basically, anything that's overhyped can get better with updates.
Takes a while.
Paid DLC is pretty ridiculous for a game to get better. You have to pay more for it. Destiny, for instance. Paid DLC, game had to get better, but you had to pay for it. And people paid for that game 4 times over and over again. $60. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of the same scenario for Elder Scrolls, but they have the paid like content, but then they also just did like frequent updates to the game itself
that
to make everything better. Yes.
Yeah. They updated the graphics. They made everything run a lot faster. They had matchmaking. It just made it perfect. Like, basically, they made it a non-trash game. I'm not saying it was trash in the beginning. I'm just saying it was definitely up there. Like, it did not live up to what it was supposed to be. It's one of those. And the reason I bring up hype is because The Last Guardian, a game developed by the same guy, or it's the game designer who did it. He made Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, some really, really good PS2 games with a kind of poor remaster on PS3, but I'm not going to talk about that. The Last Guardian just came out today. It's getting reviews that saying, like, some say it's great, others say there's almost no reason to play it. Like, the frame rate hitches, basically Trico gets in your way, like, all sorts of stuff make it almost unplayable, and you shouldn't buy it. But that has had hype for almost 8 years.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff about it, and it just didn't look... It just didn't look very good to me.
Yeah, being a fan of Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, it looked really good for me. But around E3, when people actually got to play the demos, all I heard was basically like how fucking annoying the gameplay was. And I thought with the delays and everything, it was going to get better. The gameplay was going to get better. But from what I understand, it hasn't. Like, the gameplay has been the same. It got delayed because of, like, I don't know, basically, like, them to make it better with quotation marks is what I said. It's just so ridiculous. And I actually have it for free at the moment, but I don't know if I'm going to waste my time to download and play it, because it might be good, it might be bad. I've just heard the gameplay is almost like, when it's there, it's basically unplayable. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I have a very keen eye for video games. Before they come out,
fortune teller of video games?
I just can look at it. I can determine what's not going to be in the game. Like, you watch trailers and you're like, well, that wasn't in the game. That wasn't in the game. That wasn't in the game. I just kind of use my common sense to determine, well, that's way too cool to be in the game, so it's definitely not going to be there. And then the game comes out and they're like, where was this? And I'm like, you thought that was going to be in the game?
I can't say that always happens, but yeah, it definitely happens quite often.
That happens to me so often. Like, people wanted to name No Man's Sky before it even came out, like, the greatest game ever.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, you're gonna regret that purchase.
Especially, like, the worst part about all of it was I sell video games. That's what I do, at least at the moment. And
at least at the moment.
I sell video games. And that night, when I was selling No Man's Sky, I continued to tell people the things that they believed were true were not. Like, it was not going to have multiplayer. That was the biggest reason, like, one of the biggest reasons that people bought that was because they're like, I'm going to be like a space pirate with my friends. It's going to be so cool. And then, like, Sean Murray tweeted earlier that day that it was almost non-existent. Like, it shouldn't... You will not find your friends, and then that turned out to be a lie because it's non-existent. It is impossible.
Literally impossible.
Yeah, it does not happen. It cannot happen.
Wasn't there a story that like two streamers were on the same planet? But
yeah, they found the exact same planet, the exact same place,
and that wasn't supposed to happen.
And they
for
couldn't even manipulate
8 years
the environment
or something, huh?
Yeah, supposedly, the possibilities of it happening were just basically unspeakable. Like,
them
it shouldn't
finding
have
the same
happened.
planet.
Yeah, them finding the same planet in an ever-expanding universe, which is all procedurally generated. Like, it was supposedly impossible, but two people did it, and they streamed it, and they were in the exact same place, manipulated the environment, and nothing happened. Like, you couldn't find their ship. You literally couldn't do anything. The multiplayer component in this game was specifically uploading your, like, captures, everything you've discovered, to the cloud. Like, that's it. You just uploaded it, and that was it. People got to see who named a planet. They got to see your weird-ass animals, what you named them. That was mostly it. Like, there's almost nothing. That's, in my opinion, that's the reason that you can play without PlayStation Plus. And I warned people about that. I was like, if it's going to have multiplayer like you guys seem to think it is, why does it not require PlayStation Plus? because any game with multiplayer does. It 100% does on PlayStation. It's just not going to happen for them to let you play a game without it. Except for DC Universe Online, they do. There's like a couple. There's like 2, but not many. It's almost
you want to talk about DC Universe Online?
Oh, and hype. Yeah, that would be a good one, actually, because the cinematic trailers, amazing.
But the thing is that I never knew about the game until I started playing it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game.
Well, because I never ran into the problem where it was like, this game's gonna be totally crazy. But yes, the movie scenes and stuff.
The cinematic trailers.
Yeah, those were way out of
its league.
Yes.
Like, they were amazing, don't get me wrong, but what was in there basically was non-existent in the game, the story-wise at all. I mean, sure, Lex Luthor went back in time and released the exobytes, and everybody got powers, but that was literally the only thing that existed in that universe from those cinematic trailers.
The whole thing that made me mad about DC is I put so much time and money into that game.
You spent hundreds of dollars on that game. And it was free.
And it continually, got better.
Yeah.
The game got better. Until they started, like, the most recent stuff. Like,
the most recent
maybe a year ago. Oh, it just started killing everything. It made the player versus player content not even doable. Because back in the day, it took skill. Like, 3 years ago when I was playing, it took skill to kill someone.
For the most part, this actually sounds exactly like World of Warcraft.
But
like
now it's
Burning
like
Crusades PvP.
But now it's like, ooh, I'm a better power, or I use a better weapon. It used to be you could use anything in PvP and excel.
As long as you were good.
As long as you had skill. You could use hand blasters, you could use bow, you could use anything. But
People were like, I use 2 hands, so I'm the best. And it just annihilates everybody, knocking bitches down, like everything.
But they all had like their own like reign of supreme and like I don't know.
Each one had their turn being amazing.
Yes,
basically. And now it's just broken.
It's
for the most part. I mean, little side note: getting into these games now, like you can say maybe these games are so amazing now. But I've tried to jump back into DC. He's tried to jump back into DC. We played it quite a lot. He played it considerably more than I did.
Yeah, I could jump into it right now.
It's just so different now.
It's
not only so different now, it's basically impossible to jump back in. Not because like skill wise you can't, but because it's almost just not the game that you expected it to be.
And they made roles so much more like useless.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when you did a raid, you needed 2 of each.
It was required. You needed 2 trolls, 2 healers, bunch of DPS, tanks.
Yes. Now it's like, dude, you need 1 healer, 1 tank, 1 troll, sometimes 2 tanks.
Don't worry, they'll get your whole bar up like 2 seconds. It's nothing.
But like back in the day, if you told people you could solo heal something, or even in my case, you could solo troll stuff, they were like, whoa, this dude's for real. But now it's like, yeah, I can solo that. I'd be like, yeah, we expected you to.
Yeah, there's no reason to have it, because it's basically just massive burn.
And then you get into a group where someone can't do it, can't solo heal it, so they kick him.
Yeah, they give nobody a chance.
Yeah, it's like that's a great community you guys got there. But no, that game
has degraded
so
considerably,
much. And it was so fun. It was by far my favorite game.
I would say
4 years
of any MMO, it does have the best combat. Like strictly based on its combo system and the clipping and everything, it's got the best combat.
But they got rid of clipping.
Did they?
Yes.
Completely?
Like Hard Light.
That's depressing.
Hard Light used to take so much skill, but if you got really good with it, you were one of the best. But it was hard.
Hard was a super fun power.
It was hard to get really good with it. But now that there were so many people complaining about how good it was, and then the fact that they couldn't get good with it because they just weren't good enough, they got rid of it.
You got the Dark Souls mentality, like get good, scrub.
Well, that's
no, I understand. Thing. Yeah, it's like you shouldn't patch things just because people are good.
If I take 2 hours a day for a month to practice this power, and I get good with it, and I'm destroying everyone in damage out, which really I don't know why people put so much emphasis on damage out. if we get done with the raid in like a reasonable time, shouldn't everyone be happy about it?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a competitive nature. But speaking of players getting nerfed and everything, I mean, we're not talking... Hard Light wasn't as good as, like, specifically because we have Overwatch right here. It's not... Being good with Hard Light wasn't like being good with Torbjorn when it first came out, where you just made turrets. Being good with Hard Light actually took skill. You had to use them in specific combos,
and
like...
timing and...
It was amazing, actually. Hard Light was probably one of the most enjoyable like combat systems I've ever played. Like, this is where people who love gameplay, love like Mega Man games, where gameplay is king kind of a thing, came to fruition, was for the most part with the Hard Light ability. Sorry, we kind of got off track there. It was mostly about hype, but I think we can both say...
It kind of went into like the nerfed range.
It's okay. I mean, who doesn't like a good segue into a different topic?
Yeah.
But basically the consensus is hype sucks ass and...
Nerfs suck ass.
Except when they're needed, like
okay,
Torbjorn.
Okay, when they're needed, yes. But...
Yeah.
Because I
just
spent
because one
24 hours practicing something and I'm good with it, don't nerf it. But if you can have someone pick up the game and be good with it, nerf it.
So that's the end of this episode. Make sure you guys subscribe for all of our upcoming content. Like this video if you guys liked it. Helps us out a bunch. And make sure you leave a comment letting us know how you guys feel about hype and how you guys feel about nerfing super good characters and stuff like that, or super good abilities. And MMOs, any game in general. That's for it for us today. I hope you guys have a great day.